Welcome to another edition of Vigorously with me, Val Kleinhans. Very excited because we have singer-songwriter Kendra Erika in the building. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are
I'm
you?
I'm obsessed with the new hair. I noticed we have new hair, new
Oh,
vibes. Is he
yes.
winter
I
vibes? Darker, a little bit darker for winter.
It's a little thank you for catching on to my drift.
Yeah.
Because I did go a little darker for the winter, but also because I just feel that going darker was gonna be more healthy for my
Mm,
hair. Because
mhm.
for like 9 months for this whole year I was blonde, and I just started noticing my hair thinning out just a little bit with the blonde. So
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to something darker because I was, red. I was a redhead for 10 years. And my hairdresser said, your hair was in healthier shape when you were darker shade. And I said, well,
Oh, that's a real one.
well, we can definitely, I mean, and I would love to embrace more of that like natural look, but the blonde definitely came in swinging for those Bond girl shoots that I did for the album.
Yeah, shout out to your
But
hairstylist too. She's a real one for letting you know.
oh
Like,
yeah,
not
yeah,
all of them would
no.
let you know.
No, and she was totally against doing any sort of bleach because when I wanted to do the blonde, I was like showing her pictures of like Betty Davis, Marilyn
Yeah.
Monroe, Greta Garbo, like all of them. And I said, I want it to be like this. And she said, well, that includes bleach, Kendra, and I'm not doing bleach on you. So, but still the highlights, the base breaking, all that. Like blondes have more fun, but it takes more maintenance. So,
Period. Yes, that's true.
yes.
It's true.
So, but yeah, I have a new look. But and if anybody has anything to say about it, I'm a Bond girl. Bond girls always interchange their looks.
They do. They do.
You always keep it interesting. So, I mean, that's my comeback.
That's the assignment. Okay, so for anybody listening that hasn't caught on yet, we've got something very special to discuss today. It does have a lot to do with the Bond era, James Bond, and a really fun theme. We'll get to all that very, very shortly. But I would love for us to get to know you just a little bit better and chat about your background and what was it in the first place that made you want to be a singer?
Well, it dates all the way back to when I was four, and I was one of the I was one of those like small percent people that knew what they wanted to do when they
Mm,
were really young. And I always knew that I wanted to do something performance related, whether it was singing and dancing, just something entertainment. And I think it's because at such a young age, I was watching all those Disney movies with like the princesses and
yep.
them coming out and doing numbers and singing. And I was like, oh, I was just spellbound with that. And then as I got older, my parents enrolled me in school theater and in local theater. And the interesting thing about me is that I had the confidence to do it, but not the skill set. So I was tone deaf when I was born, and I um yeah, let's just say it came out. It came out a little weird when I sang.
So what? Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask. Walk me through what exactly that meant. You could like it was obvious. You could just hear it. Things were off when you were trying to sing, learning to sing.
Yeah.
How did you realize that that was the case?
Well, when you're young, you don't realize it, but
Right.
you have adults that do.
Oh,
And and my I would always put on these performances for my parents in their living room when they had guests over, and they would need to drink a little more vino in order to tolerate it. So
that really is how it is. So God.
that's all that it is. Parenting 101. Um,
So
but for me, I, you know, I trusted in my parents and knowing that, you know, I probably wasn't the most skilled singer, but I was trained at a young age at 8 years old by a professional German opera singer who laid this foundation for me. And being that I was so young, fortunately, I was like a sponge and I could absorb all of that. And the foundation was ingrained in me. So therefore, um, it's like learning a language. You're better off learning a language at 8 years old than you are at, you know, 38, because just
Yeah.
because you're how your brain is. And I absorbed all of that training, and from there, that's where the technical foundation really helped and was instrumental in growing my voice and developing it further.
And shout out to your parents for being that just inclusive and astute to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is her thing. Maybe we should, like let her continue to do her thing. We're not going to yuck her yum. We're going to encourage it, and then
Yes.
and help her refine that skill because that turned into a number of amazing opportunities for you. I know EDM and dance is kind of where your musical career begins. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it was through that vessel that you also built an amazing fan base in Asia too. I was so curious about that. How does an American do that? Like with the language barrier or things that I'm thinking about, like what did it take to do that?
Well, the one thing that I will say, and this is well, I have no problem tooting my own horn. It's just how you toot it. But um the the Asian people, they really admire and they value hard work and
Mm-hmm.
people that actually have something to bring to the table. And what I've noticed is not just in Asia, but I have so many followers in the Middle East. I have them in South America, and I have a lot of them in Europe as well. And I do have some in America, but I just feel like I have more international than national following. And what I see in that is that, oh, since you know we are very much like the infantile country in the US, and other nations have had many rodeos, let's just say. When it comes to talent, when it comes to music, when it comes to art, they're very particular, and they like things of a certain caliber. So a lot of what we see in America as being promoted as, you know, the top or the trendy may not translate well in Asia or in, you know, Italy or, you know, in Dubai. So I see it as a compliment to me, being that they do see a caliber, they do see a quality, and I do
Yes.
bring something to the table, and I'm not just one of these fly by night, you know, trend setting, you know, that have, you know, made it overnight. And that I do have a story to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a compliment to you. Let's start there. That is
Oh,
absolutely a compliment to you because not everybody can do it. Not everybody can cross over. There are artists today who are still working on that global crossover. So it sounds like the attention to detail was key in
hmm.
connecting with those audiences, just in what you do and in what you create. Do
Yes.
you, was that something that was always part of you as a person? Or do you just apply it to your career and maybe at home you're a little more chill? Where does that come from?
Um, I think it comes from uh you know, just having good examples. My parents are both professionals in their own field,
Yeah.
so um and you know, I never I don't come from money, but I do come from great work ethic. And I've seen them in their fields really be proactive and be productive. And then when they come home, they just enjoy the home.
Right.
So I'm very much the that same way. Like I I like just working and being professional and doing what I need to do. And then when I come home, I like to be um I just like to enjoy my personal life.
Mm.
So, and but there's always, striking that balance too, which can be tricky. Especially now when you have that switch in our society where it's now women are like the more masculine type, and now that the men have become a little bit more effeminate, it becomes challenging, switching from that forthright attitude of being the stellar looking person on camera, on screen, or like on social media, having that veneer, and then coming back home and just trying to be, more of that feminine and take my natural role. So, but it's been a learning experience for me and that. But yeah, I'm not I, there's definitely a more chill side to me. I will say that.
Yeah, it's a lot more fluid and versatile now, and I think that it's a breath of fresh air a lot of the
Yeah.
time. I'm happy that things are kind of at least trending that direction. I think we still have some balancing to do, but
Yes.
I'm happy that like we're at least challenging what was happening before. I think only good can come from that. Only better connection can come from that. When you were connecting with a global audience, was that always the goal? Was that intentional, or was that more so a happy coincidence?
I think it was just, well, I think it was just the law of attraction, because what you put out, you'll receive. So if I was putting out Euro vibes, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get Euro fans, a
Right.
Euro following. Um, so like if I wanted to market myself to like the Miami audience, I would be all like, "Hey, let's go, Cheto, yeah, yeah, yeah." I would be putting that out, and then I would get that kind of following. But no, I think it was just organic how that happened. And also I think just from having that creative and that exposure when I was doing different shows and different showcases, and even in recitals, and learning different pieces of music from this part of the world or that part of the world, or even just learning like the American Songbook, which there's a lot of history behind that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of icons behind that, and there's just a timelessness there. I think that really added to my cultured being
Yeah.
developed.
That only had to benefit you and your fan base too. My God, just being able to do all the above.
Yeah, I think so too.
Tell me more about that transition, because I would love to hear your own perspective on it. The transition from EDM and dance to the jazz. You've done a little bit of it, but we're about to be blessed with even more.
Yes.
Was that a difficult transition? Was that something that was always planned? Was there something going on in your life that it just became the catalyst? Tell me about that transition.
Um, well, when I was first starting out, I was doing so much of the classics. I mean, I won a talent competition in Florida for doing Time to Say Goodbye by Andrea Bocelli.
Mm-hmm.
And I have performed the classics, and I had restaurant gigs and performances, all in Boca Raton, and I created such a great repertoire of like the old crooners, like the standards and the light hits that everyone from the older generation appreciates. Um, but when it came time to becoming my own artist, I was, I was a girl in my early teens, young 20s, and so many people just promoted going more in that pop dance route because they were like, you're a young girl and no one's gonna want to listen to like a jazz, sort of classic artist. That's your age. And I'm like, have you seen Jackie Ivanko? Like, have you seen that? But they were more promotive of me doing that Lady Gaga formula of yeah, do the pop dance stuff and then you can transition. I'm like, okay, yeah, so I'll do that. And I did do that. And I will say that the during and even at that age, I it wasn't like I was obeying them because I also wanted to kind of get it out of my system. I wanted to let my Britney, my Britney dreams get out
Yes.
of my system.
Yes.
I wanted the bubble gum to have its way before the minty fresh came in.
Mm, we got it.
So,
Right.
um, so I just wanted to let things take its course, but that doing charting all those dance songs, writing and recording it just strengthened that muscle in that capacity of writing and recording. And also it strengthened the performance muscle too, because I was constantly performing, so it built that confidence within me.
Yeah.
And then just as I got older, I was like, I'm not, I love doing this, but I'm feeling kind of burnt out by it.
Got it. So, well, and that makes complete sense. But what I'm also hearing is that the jazz era, the songbook era, like the American classics and standards, that was already part of your core being. We just didn't
It
know
was. I just didn't know because I was a young little bratsky.
it.
And I didn't know it, but I definitely appreciate it now. It's sort of like how when when I was younger, when I was playing golf, my dad was like, Kendra, this is gonna help you in business and in life. And I was like, no, it's not. I don't want to go out and practice.
Oh,
You're like that defiant youngin. And now I'm like, oh, Joe Pesci plays golf, Justin Timberlake plays golf.
yeah.
Oh, this one plays golf, that one plays golf. I'm like, and then I'm looking at my, my top 40 constituents and I'm like, yeah, you can't hit a wedge shot within
It-
100 yards, but I
ah!
can. I'll get that record deal. Yeah.
Do you
I'll be
still
the
golf?
one that gets that. Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. I've never
Yeah.
tried. I've honestly never tried.
But like listening to my dad like hammer that in and also my mom as well. Um, and now that I'm a young woman in her early 30s, I'm seeing that now and I'm like, okay. So, once again, listening to what my parents said and, you know, having the you were right dance and moment with them.
Damn it. I know.
But yeah, it was always a part of my core being, but yeah, and I just felt like I need to get back to that because now what we're seeing is showing your capability is a cool thing now.
Yes.
Um, well, and the one example that I use quite frequently is Nicole Scherzinger, and
Mm,
and like now winning a Tony is a cool thing.
right. I always thought she was underrated. Underrated.
Yeah,
Underrated and
yeah,
underestimated.
yeah, and I feel like she and I have similar backgrounds and similar stories, just on our
Mm,
own different scales, but yeah, she also was like no one was taking me seriously when I was doing Pussycat Dolls.
yeah.
And I was like, I get it. I totally get it. And funny thing when I had when I was performing at where was it? It was not Rocco's, it was Mickey's in WeHo when I was performing there on 4th of July this year. I was already starting to feel like burned out by doing a lot of those club gigs,
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
so funny because I was doing all my usual moves, and then when I get home and I woke up the next morning, my leg was sore. I was like, "You're getting up there, Kendra.
We need to tone it down
We
musically
need
and
to tone it
physically.
down." I'm like, I used to do this move when I was 24, and
I
now when I'm
know.
like 32 and I'm like trying to do the high kicks, I'm sore the next day.
I know. Dude, I am very close to 36 like in a couple weeks
Yeah.
and I feel you. I
Yeah.
absolutely feel you. So, let's chat about the new single though, Goldeneye, the
Yes.
kickoff to the
Yes.
Bond era collection of songs that are fully
Let's
coming
do
out in
it.
February. So, musically, why I mean, I feel like you sort of answered this already, but it seems like you brought it back musically. Why this songbook for you? Was it about revisiting it from childhood, or was it also about advancing your song? Why that selection? Why that era?
Well, my dad introduced me to Bond when I was 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
oh 07.
Yeah.
And he showed me my first Bond movie, and I was just like captivated by it. I was like, this is so cool. I was like, and I'm 7, and I have a crush on someone that's like in his 40s, probably, like
Right.
Sean. Yeah, I'm
And
like,
I want to be a Bond girl, period.
and yeah, I would love that. And just that whole world just fascinated me, and not just that, not just cinematically, but also it resonated me on a musical note as well because just the songs from the Bond movies are just they're timeless, and also they're impactful, and they're quite inspirational. So I had always wanted to do a Bond related album, and it started lightly knocking on my door, on my brain, during COVID. I was
Mm,
like started lightly knocking at my door, and then it just grew louder and louder and louder until finally I sat my mom and my dad down, and I said, I want to do this. And they were both like, great.
great idea.
Great idea. Um, and then actually recorded the vocals for all of the songs actually a year ago around this time. We wrapped up the vocals right before Christmas.
Mhm.
And then the process of working with Myron again, because I'd worked with him prior doing Witchcraft, my Frank Sinatra cover,
Mhm.
which won the Hollywood Independent Music Award, which was so
Incredible.
serendipitous. And also he did a stripped down version of A Deeper Love, which was one of the songs that charted on the Billboard dance charts, and I stripped it down to a jazz version. That will actually be a bonus track on the License to Thrill album because in its stripped down form, it sounds so much like it could be a 007 record.
Mhm.
So that's going to be featured on the album as well. But that's how that project came to be, and um I honestly feel like because the majority of people, not only in the entertainment world but also globally, they have a great adoration for Bond.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah.
it's so baked in, it's so um
It's
yeah,
familiar.
it's so
Everybody knows.
familiar. Yeah, and it's widely revered.
Yeah.
So
Totally. Nailed it. All fantastic reasons. I would have done the same thing if I was a singer. You don't want to hear me sing though. You definitely don't want to hear me sing. But how I was also curious about this part of it though, because we love a look, we love a vibe. I know you do too. How much of it was aesthetic for you and just being like captivated by that and saying, "Ooh, now I want to try and recreate." all of those gorgeous things.
Yeah, well, I knew it needed to be as visually aesthetic. 'Cause as much as it can be, you know, what's the word? Odd, audacious is when you're kind of um outrageous, but
Overstimulating.
no, like it needed to hit all senses. So like audio,
Ah,
visual, like people because the Bond films they hit all of those cylinders. So
they do.
I wanted to be visually simulating with what I did, and I wanted to pay homage to a lot of what I saw. I didn't want to imitate it. I just wanted to pay homage to it because um I didn't want to do anything caricature like because I didn't want to look like I was, out of Party City.
Ah, I know what you mean.
But I wanted to embody it because me having that deference and that respect for it, I also wanted to be respectful with myself as an artist and say, okay, I don't want to imitate, but I'll definitely be inspired and then
Yes.
have my own stylization on it. So all the looks that you'll see coming from the new album and all the visuals, it's all been inspo, but it's something with a KE signature on it.
Yes, gorgeous. I mean, the old Hollywood hair is what I was seeing.
Yeah.
A lot of sleek black, which makes sense with all the silhouettes that are so famous as part of the 007 brand. What, how did you ensure that it did not become a caricature of itself and it did have your stamp on it? Are we thrifting? Are we going to specific places? What's happening?
Well, it was a combination of actually taking what I had already had in my closet.
Perfect.
Also from shopping online. Um, and then as far as thrifting goes, did I do any thrifting? I need to think, did I? I don't think I don't think so. But what's really cool, and now that I'm thinking about it, so thank you for exfoliating this. Is that um, my my acting coach had actually gifted me a lot of vintage clothing from her mom when her mom passed away. She had all this clothing, all this vintage clothing from like the 70s and from the 60s that
That's
she
it.
that she
That's the era.
had, and I utilized some of that in my shoots. So I'm like looking up every day and I'm like, you good at the chessboard, aren't you? I'm like, because at that time I was like, oh, I have this vintage wardrobe. Where can I use it?
Ta-da. There was a
Great,
plan.
great job.
There was a plan. Sometimes things just work out that way.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite look that maybe we haven't seen yet or maybe we've already seen?
The favorite look so far that I have is I can't even think of a favorite one. But they're all just they're all I mean they're all just so double O
Yeah,
is what I'll say.
had to be fun to play with. I
Yes.
completely get it. So, what do you think was the number one most important thing that you had to implement to make sure that you nailed this era and this vibe? What was the most important part? Was it the clothes, the hair, the makeup, like a specific thing?
I think the most important element that I had to do was watch a bunch of Bond movies, like
Yeah, that helps.
in preparation for it. And I had been starting my viewing preparation and doing my research. Oh, well, in my youth, like when I was growing up and in my teenage years, I
Mhm.
watched a bunch of Bond movies. But then with the full intent in mind, I spent, a good amount of time watching them and just, studying them, and also building, you know, vision boards, aka Dropbox folders with different photos.
Yep.
And really built really seeing which looks and what things really resonated with me.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Bond? I'm gonna guess Pierce Brosnan. Just guessing based by age, because I'm close to your age too, and we all played the same damn video game. But like, we all did. But do you have a favorite Bond?
Mine is Roger Moore.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, very cool.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny when you ask that kind of question to the audience. I'm like, who's your favorite Bond? And people are like, Sean, Roger.
there's
Then
so many answers.
you have people that say Pierce, Daniel Craig, and then it's almost as like it's almost as if, that saying, like, don't bring up religion, politics at the bar. Well, don't bring up who your favorite Bond is, because people will go at each other.
There's debate. There's
There's
absolutely
debate.
debate.
Oh, and it's all, yeah, don't bring up the Game of Thrones finale ending either at a bar. People will fight each other.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Do you see musically, do you see yourself continuing to mix genres as you go on?
Yeah. I see, I just see endless possibilities. Now there are some genres where I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's for me. But within that whole jazz and classics, and also mixing in some of my upbeat styles as well. I have actually two tracks that I wrapped up this year that are very upbeat, that are very very 007.
Ooh,
And I can't wait to share those. Because as much as you have like the orchestral Bond songs, I want to throw in some that speak to me in my particular journey.
yeah. I also was wondering if you saw yourself or felt that you're still finding your sound at this point in your career, or do you think you're pretty seasoned now and you're pretty settled?
I'm seasoned, but I'm not settled.
Mm.
I'm seasoned to season more.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
always more growth.
yeah, if I'm settled, that means that it's like yawn. But no, I don't want to be settled and boring, but um yeah, it's just gonna be it's like the best is yet to come.
Yeah, pun intended. That's also part of
Yeah.
the songbook. Love that
Yes.
song. Well, I know, and all of this is going to sort of just be celebrated with a giant party in Vegas as well. Tell me
Yes.
the planning for that. How's that all going?
Well, the planning is going very well. Um, February 15th at the Space in Las Vegas is going to be the album debut, the showcase debut. And I'm really looking forward to performing all of the songs and performing for um, people that really appreciate it. And also um, showcasing and basically having that rebirth for me, because everyone knows me as the dance artist, but them seeing me in this new light is going to be, that's signifying moment.
Yeah, so this feels like a rebirth for you, where maybe you're sort of reintroducing yourself too,
Re
musically.
yeah, reintroducing myself. Yeah. Yeah, rebirth. That's kind of like The Mummy Returns, which is kind of cool, but
Not a bad movie.
not about
Not a bad,
movie.
not a bad. Listen, Brendan Fraser is still having his moment, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
he's being reborn. And then all of a sudden it's like the locusts come out.
And we're all in trouble. We're all in
Yeah.
trouble. We don't know what's coming next.
Right.
Anything else about License to Thrill, the album out in February? What else do we need to know about it?
Well, there will be a bonus track, which, as I said, will be a stripped down version of A Deeper Love. But you'll just get a good selection of songs from all the different eras of Bond, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
Yeah,
So it's going to be a nice licensed journey.
I can't wait. And have you maybe given thought to what's to come after? Or is it too
Mm,
or is it too soon? We're trying to get through this first.
well, I'll say that I cannot confirm nor deny maybe a volume two, but
Okay, if it goes well, why not?
yeah, yeah, like I said, I mean I love sushi and I love koi fish, but I cannot confirm nor deny.
Okay. Kendra, I had so much fun. Thank you so much. I cannot wait for License to Thrill. I cannot wait to see what's next. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.